You see what that building says? We work. We work. We work for people rob and thief from us with Deedfraud or retirement fund. When the court system, which I'm going to zoom out to the bankruptcy court that I just came out of after retrieving my record, also went into those two buildings, and that's the General Attorney for the United States of America with bankruptcy and all other crime, where I filed several civilian crime report, and they like taking my paperwork and not even contacting me or doing nothing, and treating us like the slave due to deed fraud, and throwing us under the bus, or wanting us to just stay on the system with SSI and SSD inadequately. I want for them to know what they did as I'm suing the United States of America is improper, inadequate, and much, much more. Correct all these wrong with deed fraud, because deed fraud is criminal and it affects every facet of our life. It traumatizes us, it have them labeling us, it have them destroying us like we are under full control with the slave master, or the house slave with the slave master, when we're in the right, as we file a chapter 13 to protect our asset or income from banks and Wall Street and all other lawyers, investors, judges, investors, or investors in general. We are the one out here who is suffering, just as Occupy would put it. If you follow the money and the many documentary that's being produced on Wall Street with Occupy and much, much more, with these derivative stocks and bonds, with banks and all others who think they control the world and they can do anything to hard-working people, even rob and thief or house or equity or asset. Even as we file a chapter 13 or much, much more, they think, you know, rob them. All you got to do is rob them and label them and control them. Not me. I do see obstacle as opportunity, because once more, these crimes with deed fraud does stay on the general court system with defamation of our character, knowing we was the ones seeking protection with our children, or business, and much, much more. I can have the Human Rights Commissioner, Mr. Isaac Parcel, who was my consultant for years, telling me the bank was trying to rob my home equity after lead poisoning to my children at 107-23 Union Hall Street, Jamaica, New York, zip code 11433, telling me the bank was not just soliciting me to refinance me to pay up my creditors, to pay up my corporation who invested in this property further. We had done all the work ourselves, because my husband then, he was a builder, a handyman, and much, much more. He built our house back home, more so. See? So we did all the work. Has Home Depot and all others also gave us 7,000 line of credit with material to reconstruct this house into a new house for years. And then the bank is gonna draw such bad card as they solicited me to refinance, but to want to pre-foreclose. What nonsense. As the market value rose, that was the trick, you know. They would make more money, not just to refinance me rightly, but doing me wrong to hold on to my equity and try to foreclose on it. But the day of the foreclosure, September 22nd, 2000, I decide to beat them by a hour. And that's where the injustice and much, much more under the house slave with the slave master continue. Even with President Obama bailing out bank as they rob and thief people asset further down the line, making them look good and making us look bad. Like we the debtor, you must just bury dead or alive, rob and thief our retirement fund, our children, throw us under the bus to make us houseless, homeless, to make us sick, to traumatize us and label us and destroy us. Yo, it's not the end of the road. What goes around comes around. I'm suing the United States of America, and they throw back all my paperwork in my face after they try to bar and sanction me. Once more, Deedfraud is criminal. So when the judges overlooking all these law with the United States Constitution, you have to hold them accountable on the Freedom of Information Act and much, much more. Because the damage and the injury and much, much more has already been done. They can't take back that. But they surely have to compensate me and stop robbing our retirement fund. In bankruptcy court, it is said, when we file a chapter 13.7 or whatever, even chapter 12, 11, 13.7 or whatever, a combination of one and all, it only stays on our credit for the next 7 to 10 years? No, that's a lie. It stays on the general court system archives, even when they're robbing and stealing from us with deed fraud and labeling us and damaging our character, and the bank and the court system and all others is overlooking these crimes, treating us like they must further intimidate us, label us, and destroy us. Why judges wear black in court? One time I saw that on the internet, and people need to Google that, to bury the dead. You can imagine that? So you see us as dead because you want to rob us. We're not human beings. We're just under color of law with the financial system that's derogative, robbing us with banks, the 1% and all others. You see us as bury the dead. I'm not dying, I'm not dead. You know, you use slavery to bury a lot of our foreparents, dead or alive. Such atrocity, and continue far more and more atrocity against us. They forget how the Constitution was formed and why it was formed. It came about because of slavery. And on the Brown versus Board of Ed, nothing have truly changed. It's all the same. What happened to me happened more and more to people, millions and millions of other people in and around the world. It's not just right here in America this is taking place. You know, the bank is using their power with the court system, with their investors and much, much more to rob and thief from us. Not just deed fraud, but job discrimination, credit discrimination, bankruptcy discrimination, foreclosure discrimination, eviction discrimination, garnishment discrimination, and all other form of discrimination. So, with that said, season greeting. It's approaching New Year's. Today's date is pretty much December 28, 2022. And once more, let me not just jump out of the district court that I'm zooming out on, but telling them since the law library is closed, let me go into the Brooklyn Library that's building right here. That's the Brooklyn Library right here. So twist the camera back and forth. I'm just going to cut, tape and edit with these criminals running loose while the justice system showing the book of us at us inadequately. When the bank violated me with my Chapter 13 firstly, as I paid my Chapter 13, and the cashier called me back and said, as I was leaving, Miss Cole, come here. I forget to tell you, anything dairy then will be considered void. So they want to commit their fraud with deed fraud and all others and think it's not criminal. Not even the DA with the police who actually locked me up wanted me to see that criminal court judge with the crime they had committed. The DA is telling me pretty much, if I can bring a civil rights lawyer, no way he's gonna prosecute my case with who stole it. You can imagine that? Look at that. Oh shit! These birds are utilizing Mother Nature. Yeah, lying down. It's so beautiful.